everybody? It's your girl Krissy D. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are making the best of this quarantine. As always, it's the Queen of Underground Radio, the host with the most. You already know how I do. Bringing you your favorite artist interviews and celebrity interviews each and every single week. Today, I'm just like truly honored, for real, to have the legendary, when I tell you, Grammy Award winning songwriter, extremely gifted lyricist, the real Source Money. He's coming in.
He's in.
I'm looking to see. It's so weird not being able, because normally I have my camera facing me, but then it makes everything show up backwards. So now I have it faced in a different way. So it's kind of weird. So I got to look at you on a different screen. I'm going to try to look at you guys as well. But hey, Source, how are you?
Chris, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing so good. I got to tell you, it's like truly an honor, like for real, to even have you on this live right now. When I told people that I was going to be interviewing you, everybody was like, that's amazing. They said that they was going to be tuned in. So I'm just glad to have you. I've been watching so many of your interviews and just trying to make sure I get all the right information so that I can ask the questions that the people want to know. So how you doing?
I'm good. Just trying to survive the game. You know how it's going. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. I'm making the best out of this quarantine. You know, when life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade. You got to keep it going. Right. I'm just trying to bring, the supporters. I'm just trying to bring them some really good quality interviews. So, again, I thank you for being with me today. So, I was listening to your music, and one of my favorite songs is What We Do.
Right.
And in the song, you said, I like to talk shit with Tarina and do hits with Jay. I like to write for other people, keep them loving a nigga. On the low, love. On the low, love the dough, plus make my publishing bigger.
Right.
What a lot of people don't know is that you're like an A-list ghostwriter.
Right.
For real. I don't even know if they know that you wrote the Missing You song for the late, great Notorious B.I.G.
Right, yeah, yep.
Which was the first song, Source, the first song to debut #1 on the hip-hop billboards, was the first hip-hop song to debut #1 on the billboard, and it stayed on the charts for 11 weeks, earned 2 Grammys. I mean, it just was amazing. So how did that whole, situation come about?
Well, I was introduced to Puff through Jay. I've told the story a few times. After Big died, I guess, him and Big was kind of tight. So, when Puff approached him to write the record, he may have been a little too close to it to actually do it. So he introduced me to Puff to write the record. And, I sat with Puff for a while and, got some particulars. And then, we just went into the studio and banged it out.
And it turned out to be amazing. But what I wanted to ask you, because when it comes to like writing songs for other people, do you feel like when people have ghostwriters that it reduces the credibility for artists?
I think it depends on who it is. If you have artists that's not really their strong suit, or when you hear them in records that they don't boast of being this incredible lyricist, then I think it's cool. I think it's okay for them to have ghostwriters. But if you got MCs that know how to rap, I don't think it's fair for them to have a ghostwriter.
Because we live in a time now where, before it was kind of like, people didn't really want anybody to know that. But now you have people like, like Cardi B, that's like open about it. Like, yeah, I have help, so what? But I make it my own and I still do a good job at it. So what do you feel about the people who felt like at that time when you wrote that song for Puff, where they felt like, why would you want somebody else to write a song when you're so close to that person? Like, how could that person embody your emotions? How were you able to kind of put yourself in that element where you were able to put together a masterpiece as such?
Well, I kind of like, it's kind of like acting. When you're acting for a character, for a part, you got to become that person in order to really drive your point home. So, I would just imagine how I would feel at that point, what I would say if that was my situation at the time. And, just to move further along, my mother had died not too long before that, and so, you channel those emotions,
Right.
you know, and then you put those feelings into the record. And
Right.
I was grateful enough for it to come out and, do well.
Right, right, right. And that, I mean, it definitely did. It did amazing. And not only did you write that song, I believe that was on Puffy's No Way Out album. You also wrote three other songs in addition to that song, right?
Right.
What was the other songs that you wrote?
Pain was a record. Do You Know was a record. And his verse for Young G's with Big and J.
Amazing, amazing. And I believe that album went on to sell 7 million copies.
I think it might have even did more than that.
Oh, wow.
Um, I know the single. I mean, I'm not exactly sure where it's at now, but I'm pretty sure it did a little more than that.
Right, right, right. And your
Mhm.
writing goes back, like you said, you started back in '94, back in the day. Michael Bivins,
Right,
he had a
right,
company, and you was
right.
writing for some of his artists. How did that experience, that connection come about?
Um, I think it happened through Big Daddy Kane. He had introduced me to an individual by the name of Todd, who married Faith. It was Faith ex-husband, and he was doing some work with Michael Bivins, and they flew me out to California, and I think I was writing for a young lady by the name of Tam Rock. She
Mm,
was signed, and it was actually the time that they had that real big earthquake out in California. I
right.
was out there for a lot, but that's when I really was, starting my ghostwriting thing.
Okay. All right. So, have you ever wrote a song for someone and they didn't carry out that same emotion that you had when you wrote it?
Most of the time, they don't. You know,
Mm,
most of the time they don't. Even as big as the Missing You record was, if you would hear the reference, it's not the same. But I guess it's not supposed to be because he has to put his little spin on it or whatever. So, but most of the time they never get it to how you want them to have it.
right.
Hmm.
So, is it easier to write a hit song for somebody else than it is to write a hit song for yourself?
I don't really think you can. It's really just a roll of the dice, to be honest with you. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like I can't. I'm not gonna say I could just pick up a pen and I know I'm gonna write this person a hit record. I mean, a lot of things have to, take place. It's just all timing and depend on what's going on, circumstances. So anybody just tell you that I'm gonna pick up a pen and write a hit for somebody, like I don't see it like that.
Right, right, right.